Lauren, welcome back to my channel. It is so nice to see you again. If you're just joining me for the first time, hello, it is nice to meet you. My name is Lauren, and today we are going to talk about birth control. Woo! We're going there. It's happening. The reason that I wanted to talk about birth control is that I am a person that has been on birth control pretty much my entire adult and teenage life. I went on it when I was like about 14 or 15 because I had really bad cramps and a really bad and very long period. Got a little cut off there in that first video, but I just wanted to continue by saying, so I had really bad cramps, a really bad period, and I had some acne issues, but not too many, but it was mostly just the bad period. So I think when I was about 16, my doctor put me on birth control, and I've pretty much been on birth control since. I went off a few times, but not for very long. But one thing that I've always struggled with was finding a birth control that worked for me. For some reason, my body just doesn't react well to different types of birth control, and a lot of the symptoms that you expect, like the cystic acne, the weight gain, the mood swings, all of that stuff I was getting. So I kept having to switch to birth control, to birth control, to birth control, to birth control, and I could never find a birth control that worked for me. And I thought that I'd found one, and then over the last year, I just started noticing that those symptoms started coming up again, and I started skipping periods. I had really bad PMS weeks. My sugar cravings were off the roof. Felt so depressed. I honestly think that birth control was a big part of my depression. And again, I'm sorry if this is TMI, but I'm really trying to keep it real here, but I had zero sex drive. Zero. Like, nothing. And I started seeing a naturopath. She suggested that I try going off birth control, but said, you know, if that's not something you're comfortable with, we'll figure something else out. I went home and I talked to my family doctor because I wanted to, you know, discuss it with her as well, because I don't think that you should just make this decision lightly. I think that you should consult a doctor. Absolutely you should. You know, a gynecologist, your family doctor, a naturopath, whoever makes you feel the most comfortable and whoever you trust. And even she said that she agreed that it was something that I should do just because of my history and all of the birth controls that I've been on. She's like, I could put you on something else, but I think the exact same thing would happen. I then decided to go off of birth control, and I'm gonna document my time from like the first week of being off of birth control to the 3 months, because they say that everything normalizes after about 3 months, and you'll kind of see how you're going to be. So yeah, I hope that you enjoy this video. Make sure that you hit that subscribe button to see more videos like this, and let's get into it. I have noticed a difference. Absolutely, I've noticed a difference. The first thing that I started doing was I started tracking everything. And I am using this app that's called Flow. It is this one right here. You just open it up and you can just log every day, talk about your symptoms, what you're feeling, and they'll tell you where you are in your cycle. Everything that they're predicting has actually been happening, so it's very strange. One big thing that I've noticed from being off of birth control is I feel lighter. Like, this is gonna sound so weird because, like, I don't know, when I was on my pill, I was kind of just feeling like this for the most part. Even though I was feeling emotions and depression and all of that, my body, I don't know if I can explain this. If you've come off of birth control and you know what I'm talking about, let me know in the comments below. But you kind of feel like this, but then coming off of birth control, I feel like I can feel my body, and that's so strange, but it's the first time I've ever, that I can remember feeling that. I don't know, I feel lighter, and I feel like my body is changing and moving, and I'm going along with it. I've noticed my weight go down. Oh. Power. My doctor said I was either gonna go up a little bit or down a little bit. I think I've gone down. And I haven't really gotten much acne yet. I can feel something. Where is it? I can feel something starting here. So I'm sure, what was I saying? Yeah, so I've got a little bit, like one pimple that's kind of starting. So we'll see. She said that acne is obviously something that could happen, but I haven't noticed anything crazy yet. We will see when I hit my period. That will be the deciding factor on that. But the craziest thing, other than the like feeling lighter and feeling my body, is, okay, this is gonna sound so strange to you, but I don't remember a time where I haven't craved sugar. I don't. I always crave sugar. I always want carbs. I always want sweets. Like after dinner, I want dessert. When 3 p.m. rolls around, I need sweets. It was the worst when I was on my birth control, like the PMS week and then the period week. Those were the 2 weeks where I was just like, I have to have sugar. I have no willpower. I was almost like a pregnant person with a craving. Like I had to have it. I've been off birth control for a week. I have not craved one sweet thing. So this is how the first week has been. Definitely noticed my mood raise. I've noticed like I can feel changes in my body. Weight is down a little bit. Not very much acne, but that could come. And I'm not craving sweet things. It's crazy. I will check in with you later on. It has been about a month and a half that I've been off birth control, and I've had my first period. Yay! I logged it. Let's talk about it. Normally, back before I was on birth control, when I first started getting my period, it was awful. I used to get cysts. I think I would go from like 7 to 10 to 13 days sometimes having a period, and it was unbelievably heavy. So heavy. And I think that was one of the main reasons why I went on birth control in the first place. So I was a little bit nervous about that coming off, but again, how I've been feeling mentally and physically I was just like, okay, if that's the way it's gonna be, I will just deal with that and take it as it comes, but I need to be off of birth control. But I had my period, and let's just talk quickly about the week before my period, because that's typically, I remember before, when I was on birth control, that week before I got my period was awful. Honestly, I would dread it. I was so nervous for that week to come, because my sugar cravings, while I already had sugar cravings, they would just go through the roof, and it was to the point where I couldn't stop myself. I remember David and I would be driving, and I'd be like, you have to pull into this McDonald's right now. I have to have a McFlurry, or I need to get a cone. Like, I have to have this right now. And I couldn't think, I couldn't concentrate, I had to get it. So that was definitely, like I've said, I had sugar cravings throughout the month on the pill, but the week before my period was the worst. So there was that, and my depression and anxiety, oh my gosh. Like, I felt like someone was standing on my shoulders. I felt like I had the weight of the world. I couldn't find a reason to smile. I would wake up crying almost every morning that week before. It was just, everything was just heightened, because I found that I was having these feelings of depression and anxiety throughout the month, but everything that I was feeling just went crazy. It's like it blew up that week before my period. So I was really, I don't want to say nervous, I was just curious, I guess, to see what that week would be like. So the week before my period came, and I was fine. I think I was a little bit tired. Like, I didn't have the same energy that I had at the beginning of the month, but I was feeling good, and I was like, okay. Definitely noticed some sugar cravings. Nothing to the point that I couldn't handle them, but I was definitely craving sweeter more that week. For the most part, like, it wasn't like I have to have this. It was like, I kind of want this, and if I get the chance to have it, maybe I will. But yeah, so I definitely had a little bit of sugar craving. I noticed that my breasts got a little bit bigger, which I've read is normal the week before your period. So I was like, oh wow, these are a bit bigger. These are not fitting my bra the same way, which I never experienced before. Like, our bodies are so cool. So I had that happen. Wasn't really feeling sad though, and that was the one thing where I was just like, is this gonna happen? I think it was 2 days before I got my period that I had a day where I noticed that I was kind of a bit snappy, and I was a bit up and down. And I thought about it, and I was like, oh, this must mean that my period is coming, because there was no reason for me to feel that way, but I was just like a little bit on edge, a little extra tired, and feeling, again, not necessarily down, but just up and down, and a little bit like, I want to bite your head off a tiny bit. And I thought that was really interesting. And then I got my period, and first off, like, I'll take one day of a little bit snappy over a week of the way that I was feeling before. I couldn't believe that. Like, the PMS week was not anything that I couldn't handle. Again, it's not gonna be perfect every time. I'm sure there'll be times where maybe my sugar cravings are a little bit higher, or maybe I'll have a few days where I'm off, but that was fine. And the fact that it was interesting because I realized it when I was feeling that way. I was like, oh, this means my period is coming. And it was almost like it made the way that I was feeling okay, and I just kind of went, and then I was fine. It was incredible. And then 2 days later, my period came, and I noticed it because I had cramps, which I hadn't really experienced cramps in a long time. Definitely had bad cramps the first day, but it didn't stop me from doing anything. I remember I was just a little bit tired, I had some cramps, I had a bit of a headache, but other than that, I was fine. My period, like, it was normal when I got it. It was kind of light to medium. I think I had cramps the next day, but they subsided a bit, and then barely any cramps the third day. And then my period lasted about 6 days, I would say, being very light on the last 2 days. But the first 3 to 4 days were, I think I was heavy one day, but the rest were probably like medium, light to medium. And then my period ended, and I went right back to the way that I was feeling before. You know, I felt super energetic, super confident. My boobs went back to their normal size. I just felt really good. I didn't really get any acne when I had my, like, in the PMS week. I used to get really bad acne here. Like, this would be where I would get it. And I think I got a couple, but really nothing compared. So that's how things have been, but I will check back in with you around the 3-month mark. Okay, I have been off of the birth control pill for 3 months. Oh my gosh, do I have some things to say. I feel like an entirely different person in the best way. I look back on who I was, especially this past year, and that wasn't me. Like, I feel so much better. I can't even tell you. Things are basically still the same from the 1.5 month mark. Nothing has really changed too much. My PMS week is usually pretty good. I maybe have like 1 or 2 days where I'm feeling a little bit like down or irritable, but for the most part, it's been fine. My acne is incredible. Like, my skin is the best that it's ever been. I remember when I was on birth control, like one of the birth controls I was on, I was getting like acne here. There was another one that I was trying that gave me these big cystic pimples all over my face. And then my last one that I was on, it was all chin related. I was getting all this like hormonal acne on my chin, and I'll get like the odd pimple right before my period, but for the most part, my skin has been phenomenal. Sugar cravings are still under control. I get a few sugar cravings the week before my period, but again, nothing crazy. One thing, I mentioned this in when I was in the intro of my video, and it's not something that I'm super comfortable talking about, but I think that it's important to mention. My sex drive since coming off of the birth control pill has completely normalized. Like, I have a sex drive again, and it's amazing to feel your body work that way, and to just feel that again, because I felt so numb and so like when I was on the pill, and I just feel like I almost don't have words because it makes me really emotional, because like I just look back at how sad I was and how I felt, and in my mind that was normal, and like I kick myself sometimes for not getting off of it sooner, because I didn't need to feel that way. But there will be more videos on this topic, because I really feel like this is a topic that needs to be discussed more. But just the gist of it, you know, I will absolutely stay off of birth control. I'm never going to go back on again. I am loving who I am without it. I love feeling my body. I love being in control of my emotions. I love being a woman more now. Like, I love my cycle. My periods have been phenomenal. They'll last 4 to 5 days, super light, with maybe like 1 or 2 medium days. So nothing bad at all. My mood has been incredible. I have not had a single super down day since coming off of the birth control pill. I don't have too many words, but I am so happy. And again, I know that coming off of birth control pill is not for everyone. Some of you may not feel any of the symptoms that I'm feeling, and that's amazing. Every body is different, every person is different, and every person reacts to different medications and hormones and stuff differently. So this isn't me saying everyone should get off birth control. This is just me saying that if you felt these types of symptoms too, or if you're curious, this has been my experience. And personally, it's been fantastic. But I know that not everyone's experience is like that. So if you have any questions for me though, of course, I'll put my Instagram here. You can send me a direct message. If you want to keep it anonymous, you can comment down below, whatever you feel more comfortable with. But I definitely think that this is going to be something that we talk about more, because I think that a lot of people have questions and are going through symptoms like this. So that's basically it. Thank you so much for watching this video and for taking the time to listen to me talk about these kinds of things. It's kind of become a bit of a passion of mine, to be honest. Ever since I came off, I'm just really into my body and how it works and my cycle, and I've learned a lot and I'm happy to share. Let's keep this conversation going. Please hit that subscribe button to see more videos like this, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.